everyone is having a great day. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to the Unspoken Truth. This is season 3, everyone. Season 3. And we're back with more strategy. We're back with more content. We're back with more tips and tools and craziness. More made up songs, dances, and all kinds of mess. But I want to welcome all of our listeners, if I can get that out, everyone in our audience, back to the Unspoken Truth, the show where we strip away all the filters and tell the absolute truth about building a coaching business and giving you the strategy and the mindset shifts that you need to actually make it work. Now, I'm Jay. I am your funnel, your offers, your systems strategist and consultant, the other half of this powerhouse duo. And alongside me is my sister in business, Kyna Baker. She's your leadership and mindset coach who's going to get your head and your heart aligned so that you can take your business to the next level. So, yes, that's a mouthful, isn't it? But together, we help you build, strengthen, grow, and scale your business like a real CEO and not like a hustler. So, everything we say is always unfiltered, it's always the truth. So, go ahead, grab your coffee, take a breath, get into it, and we're going to get into the unspoken truth behind what it really takes to build a business that's going to last. This episode, if you haven't already taken a look at the title, this one is really good because we've all done this. We've all experienced this, whether it's doing it or the feelings. We've all started over, and we all felt that because we started over, we're failing. But we're here to like put a different slight on it. We're here to help you look at it differently. And that's the whole thing with mindset, right? It's, and we talked about, I said it in the intro, shifting your mindset, shifting how you look at it, because starting over isn't failure. We're going to have you to look at it differently and understand that starting over is a strategy. It's a way you're approaching this the situation that you're facing. So let's start off looking at reflection, where taking breaks is not really saying that you're falling off. So let's talk about the difference between that. What's the difference between taking a break and falling off, Kyna?
So, first of all, hey, and I was ready to insert
Oh,
so much of
sorry.
my commentary. No, I did right. I kept my mouth shut so that we can actually not get through this in a way that we're trying to hurry up and finish, but get through it so that we hit all these nuggets that we're going to deliver. So hey, once again. But what's the difference between taking a break and falling off? And from someone who has done both, like I hesitated because I'm like, yes, I've done both. There is a difference. So when you take a break, most of the time it's intentional. Most of the time it comes from a space of you understanding, if we're talking personal, you understand your body, you understand the season that you're in, and I just don't mean this winter, spring, summer, fall. You understand the season that your body is in. And the same can be said for your business. Um, if we're looking at the retail industry has breaks, like times where consumers are not shopping.
Hmm.
The same can be applied to your business, but you have to um, be in a space to be able to analyze that and to be real about it. And so some of the when we take breaks, taking breaks is it can be intentional, but it also could be that you keep trying stuff and you're trying things over and over again, and it's like you're starting to get into this lull, like you're not excited about it, and you need to remove yourself from the day to day, the week to week, to be able to say, okay, is it, am I tired? Or do I need to switch gears? Am I talking to the wrong people? Am I doing the right things? Am I doing the wrong things? So you need to take a break in order to be able to analyze that. Falling off is AKA quitting. I don't know how else. I don't know how else you can put it, because when you fall off, it's again, you stop. You're not really analyzing it, because at that point you're over it. You're done with it. You're just like, I'm just ready to move to the next thing without really paying attention, and giving not really paying attention to what's happening with you. But also, it's almost like you don't care about the community that you built at that point. So you fall off. Um, and so what we don't want you to do is fall off. We want you to learn to take breaks, learn to not hustle and think that you have to do things 7 days a week, 360, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It's just not sustainable. We are so gone from that,
Right.
from that way of building business, from that way of working, that we literally do need to start taking time to figure out, you know, when are we going to pause? When are we going to take a step back to analyze what we have done? So if you're doing stuff for months on end and without a break in sight, that's also not sustainable. And so what I would encourage you to do, the same way Jay and I, we set back when we scheduled, we're going to do these on Fridays. We're going to record on Fridays. We also, and thank you, Jay, because I'm the one that would have kept going. Jay's like, nah, we need a month off. Like, we cannot do that. And how was she able to come to that conclusion? Why? Because she knows herself. She knows us working together, and we've had time. We've already have a track record of the fact that we can't do this every week all year. We know that already. And so what I also just said to you was that you have to be real about what's going on with you personally, and you also have to be real about what has happened in your business thus far in order for you to be able to say, I need to take a break.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And to me, if okay, I don't really go into my spiritual religious bag often on business platforms, but God is giving you everything you need to whenever you need direction. You have everything you need. And regardless of what you believe, you can even look at creation. Creation tells you how you should move. You have 4 different seasons, right? You have a season when things are in bloom, things come to life, and I mean, and something is happening in every season. Something is happening in every season. However, even the earth knows it needs a break. It knows when to yield fruit, whenever you can reap what has been sown,
Mm,
It knows when there is a time where the earth is the most fertile. You can get the most out of the earth, where you can get the best vegetables, the best fruit. When's the best time to feed your animals all the, nutrients that they need and all that. It tells you that there's a season for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And even in winter, when things are quote unquote dead. So, autumn is when the leaves are dying, and it's time for harvest, and it seems like everything is coming to an end. But still, during winter, the earth is healing and resting so that it can come back to life,
Mm-hmm.
so to speak, and you're able to sow and yield fruits. And even whenever you're in your sowing season, there's things that are happening that people don't even see. Things are happening in the earth. The seeds are growing, they're germinating, they're taking sprout and getting roots and stuff like that before you even see the product, the end results of what is happening. So whenever I look at taking a break, that's a season where you're aware that, okay, I need to push back a little bit, but that doesn't mean that you're not doing anything.
Right.
Just like during the winter time, that doesn't mean that life stops because it's winter, or nature has decided it's winter time, I'm taking a break. No, it's still, stuff still happens during winter, right? And like I said, just because you don't see, the fruitage happen, it's not that season for that to be seen yet. But
Mm-hmm.
there's still stuff happening um behind the scenes, so to speak. So
Mm-hmm.
whenever you're taking a break, you can still be productive. You can still do things in your business, but you don't have to be out in the front, and everything doesn't have to be bam, 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 and you have to be on and doing all the things and launching and da 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 and do. You could be getting your head right as the CEO of your business. And that could be you taking a break from launching, taking a break from your podcast, taking a break from one-on-one clients, or whatever the case is. You could be taking a break that way, but still working on your business. You could even step away from your business and take a break from that, but you're working on yourself. You're working on things with your family. You're working on priorities. So just because you're taking a break, that doesn't mean that you've failed.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you're falling off, you have to look at why you're falling off. If you're taking a break, you are aware. If you're falling off, you are 9 times out of 10 overwhelmed, you're fatigued, you're worn out, you're over it. And if I asked you, why are you over it? Why are you overwhelmed? You're going to tell me it's too much. Well, why is it too much? I don't know. I'm just doing everything. And da, 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 da. So why are you doing everything? Because there's no solid answer. When you're taking a break, you know why you're taking a break.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
I have to focus on this, because I need to do this, because this is how, you know what the next steps are. When you're falling off, you're just free falling, and you're just like, I don't, it's just, I can't.
Yes. Yep.
So I don't even like to use the word failure, but that's making moves without a strategy, without a reason, without a plan.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
Yep.
that's why these are the, for lack of a better way of saying it, these consequences are happening because you don't have a plan. If you have a plan, if you are aware, then you know, okay, this is the time for me to take a break. I need to plan this. I need to know what I'm doing. I need to know this needs to be. You have a plan in place. You have a strategy in place. So it's intentional as opposed to something that's reactionary. I don't know if that's a word, but that's what I'm going to use. But it's a reaction to what you're feeling. How do you feel about that?
Yes, yep. I think we said this the similar things from different angles, but it lacks when you say you're falling off. I immediately go to, what did your plan say?
Hmm.
Are you following? Are you doing the things that are on the your plan? Like, are you doing them consistently? If not, then that's the problem. And again, do you even have a plan? And that's a lot of times where the problem is, because everybody gets their stuff started off of like the initial, the startup. Like, they get excited about the newness of recording podcasts and creating content, and maybe even creating products. Like, Jay, I know you've worked with lots of people who just love creating, but when it was time to sell it, they disappear. And
Hmm.
so here I come in and I'm saying, what's wrong? What are you scared of? Because a lot of times that turns into a fear. And that's actually another podcast episode.
Well, let's get into why starting over is often a move toward growth. Because now we've talked about to dispel the myth, or to get the idea out of your head that if you're coming to the idea that you need to start over or you need to take a break, that doesn't mean you necessarily failed or you've fallen off. So we've already addressed that. So why should we look at this as a positive thing, that I need to start over? And this is actually a sign that I'm growing as a business owner, as an individual, as a coach.
Yeah, so we in the behind the scenes world, so those of us who are behind the scenes, there was always this point where we did debriefs.
Mhm.
It was always a point where, or if you're coaching, you asked people to reflect. The purpose of both of those is to figure out what went well, what didn't go well, and what are we going to do different. Those three questions are growth questions,
Right.
because now when we identify what we did well, great. We know that we knocked that. Maybe we hit. Maybe they got a triple. So those of you who know me, I always refer to sports. Maybe they didn't get a home run, but they got the third base. Great. How do we get that home run? That's that's the discussion. You didn't get on base at all. You struck out. What did you do? What could you have done so that you didn't strike out?
Mhm.
And apply it. And then what was the third one is, what are we going to do next time? Again, that's growing, because the alternative could be that you're stuck on, I didn't hit my numbers, so I failed, versus I didn't hit my numbers. Here's why, and this is what we're going to do next time. That's growth. And that's why we have to, as we're going through these plans, if you don't already do this, you need to debrief. Even if it's with yourself, you
Mhm.
need to reflect and figure out what went well, what didn't go well, and what are we going to do next time.
Bam. You all got those three questions. Because you do that. I do that whenever we're looking at a launch. Um, because we've talked about it before about the whole rinse and repeat.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if you didn't get that episode, it's somewhere.
Maybe we'll put it in the comments. We'll put that in the comments because we
Right,
did
right.
an episode. Because what's funny is on my notes, I wrote rinse and repeat, and I'm like, Jay said it for me. Thank you.
See
Because
why we're the dynamic powerhouse duo?
just saying, because those of you who are of that mindset of rinsing and repeating, nothing wrong with it. But if you're not getting better as you're rinsing and repeating, you're literally rinsing dirty water with more dirty water. You're not cleaning anything.
Exactly.
So the idea is that love the rinse and repeat as long as you're improving along the way.
Exactly. I totally agree. And, you know, starting over, just rephrasing what Kina had already said is that whenever you start over, you're really not starting from point A. And the reason why you're not starting from point A, even if you were to do the exact steps over and over again, you have experience now. You have a level of knowledge. So you know things that you didn't know previously. So therefore, your approach to it is going to be different. So if you're saying, like for me, I have chronic illnesses that affect my energy. So I'm constantly having to, okay, pause. This I need a break. I can't right now. Um, okay, so now I know the warning signs. So I know before I crash out and I'm in the hospital for weeks on end. Okay, so it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon and I feel like I need to go to sleep, or I feel I'm getting tearful out of nowhere, or whatever the case is. That's a warning sign. That's a warning sign. Something needs to go. I need to delegate. I need to get stuff off of my calendar. Jay is about to crash. Or this is a good one. Oh, my family knows this one too well. I start getting irritable.
I think a lot of us. I'm gonna say a lot of us get irritable if we look at ourselves and are willing to look ourselves in the mirror.
Oh,
You're probably angry, hangry, but you're angry, and the people around you is
mhm.
like, yes, she needs. Jay, I have no problem, and my children, I love y'all, but there is, they'll tell you this. Mm-mm. When moms give signs when she's had enough with everybody. And I'm like, oh, it's no more signs being given. I'm telling y'all, I've tapped out. Y'all got to go. I need a break from humans, like,
Uh,
and all the humans.
exactly, because I'll give a why, why, and they're like, so what? You need to get something off your calendar. You need to go and lay down. But now that I know what the signs are, then I know how to proceed. I don't
Hmm.
have to wait until my body has. This is what I say: you can do things voluntarily or involuntarily.
You choose.
Life is going to tell you one way or the other. You're going to learn the lesson. And even if you don't want to learn the lesson has attacked your head one way
Mm-hmm.
or another. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the fact that you don't want to learn it, that's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
But the lesson has presented itself and hit you over the head. So you can learn things either voluntarily or involuntarily. And whenever you are approaching a situation, if you have learned the lesson, then you know, okay, let me do this voluntarily. Let me
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and put some vacation on the calendar because I need to get away. Or I need to have a staycation. I need to put
Mm-hmm.
the sign on the door to tell the kids, leave me alone. Mommy needs an hour, 3 a day, whatever. Honey, you need to do dinner tonight because I can't do it. Something is, you have learned the lesson. And so, what you experienced previously, that overwhelm, that crash out, whatever the case is, you don't have to necessarily learn it again. So let's talk about the shift. The shift from the shame that we experience from having to start over.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's one thing to say, okay, I know that it's not necessarily failure. I got it. Boom. Lesson learned. But underline under the underlining feeling is a little bit of shame,
Absolutely.
especially now where social media is all over the place, right? And everybody sees what you're doing, and it's the end thing for you to, um, it's the end thing for your business to be broadcast everywhere. So if we start something and then we have to stop and then we start and then we stop, then there's a level of shame
Mm-hmm.
to that. So let's talk about how we can shift that feeling from shame into something more positive, like momentum. So, as the mindset coach, as the coach on this, I am going to, I am going
Take a
to
back seat.
definitely going to do that. Because I'm going to tell you about the strategy and the things that you need to put in place in order for these things to happen for you to start over. But that, because for me, I'm like, for me, it's always going to be there because I am for myself, I can have all the compassion for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
For myself, it's not there.
Mm. And that's Jay. That is a lot of us. I mean, including myself. Like many times, I check myself, and that I could just have had a conversation with someone around shame, and here I am sitting here like, dang, I gotta start over again. I gotta show my face. I have to, I don't know, remember what I promised from before. Like all these things start coming in my brain, and I'm just like, oh no, cut it out, Kyna. Like, so if you're around me, you may hear me say my own name. That does not make me crazy. That makes me very aware of what I am doing, how I am thinking. Because guess what? Can't nobody else do this for me. Like no one else is in my head but me. So if there's something, some commentary going on in my head that I know doesn't make sense, I know isn't productive, that I know is going to keep me stuck, cut it out, Kyna. Cut it out. So don't be surprised if you ever hear me that. So the first thought that I had was, shame of what? And I don't mean that sarcastically. I mean that when we get into the space and you're able to identify that you're ashamed, what are you ashamed of? That you started something and didn't work? I mean, raise your hand if the first time you did anything, it worked every time.
Right.
It doesn't. And so we, again, these platforms that we are on have created this reality that I do it one time and I'm great. It's perfect. That's not reality. So, are you ashamed that you started something, it didn't work out? Are you ashamed of what you think the people who are out in the ether is thinking about you? Because, and I remind you, a lot of those people that you think have something to say about you,
Mhm.
look and see what they're doing. Look and see what they're doing consistently. And it's not a comparison game. It's really to bring you back to the space of, this is my life, this is my business, these are my actions that I'm taking, and there's nothing for me to be ashamed of.
Right.
So again, it's really getting to that point where you're checking yourself when it comes to your emotions, where you're saying, I have nothing to be ashamed of. I started something, it didn't work out. Like, these are the words that you can start using. I started this, it didn't work out. It didn't go according to plan, as long as you had a plan. It didn't go according to plan. But I'm not done. This is not the end of it. I mean, because honest, if I were to be honest about my own journey, should have quit a long time ago, according to other people, because this is not the first time. Jay, this is not our first time at this, correct?
Correct.
It's not our second time either.
Nope.
I dare say, is it our third? If,
It's big heavy. It is heavy.
but the point is, you know, we're human, we're living life, and as much as we don't like being the kind of transparent that I believe we should be when we're building these things, and it's understandably so, we have to understand that life sometimes be lifing. Humans are going to be humans. Things are going to happen that are out of our control. And the best thing you can do for yourself is to dust yourself off and keep it moving. Remember the why. Remember why you decided to start your thing. Remember why you're doing all of this. And as long as you can answer the question of, what are you ashamed of? Like, honestly. And if you can't do that by yourself, holler at your girl.
But you know what? It is. I think the shame comes from the shame of imperfection.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I doubt that there's any other reason for the shame. It's because it exposes you for not being perfect. And that could be, a self,
Imposed, yes.
right, imposed type of standard, or it could be where as a child, what was expected of you. Um,
Mm,
it could be a lot of different things. It could be a trauma.
mm-hmm.
You don't want to be like someone else who has failed in some way, shape, or form. So
Mm-hmm.
you're going to overcorrect and go the complete opposite. But the thing that we constantly fight against is reality.
Yep. Yep.
And it's trying to we're constantly trying to strive for perfection, and I think that's again a spiritual thing,
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, it's a spiritual thing. I'm not going to go into that, but if
Mm-hmm.
you want to have that conversation, we can have that conversation later. But I think it's we're constantly trying to achieve perfection, but we're constantly hitting the reality that we're not perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so that's where the shame lies in I am not, I'm missing that mark.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
am imperfect. And now people are going to see, and then those who are in the audience, they look at the fact that you missed the mark, that you're not who you said you were.
OJ.
You,
OJ.
you're wrong. See, you really don't have yourself together. See,
Yep.
you really not that chick. See
Yep.
you, and then there comes the criticism, which
Yep.
layers on the shame, and that's what stops the momentum,
Mm-hmm.
because now you're stuck.
Yep. Yep.
And
Yep.
it's those feelings that lead to falling off.
Yep.
Though that overwhelm, that fatigue, that all those negative feelings, that's what feeds into it. Now, for me, the shift comes from shame to momentum, is that going back to what Kyna said, okay, so if I'm having to start over, what did I learn? To me, shame would come in if you didn't learn anything.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If you
Yep.
are like that person that I was saying before, who didn't learn the lesson, and the lesson kept knocking itself over that person over the head, and they refused to learn the lesson, then to me, that's shameful.
Mm-hmm.
You should be feeling those feelings because you refuse to learn anything. You
Mm-hmm.
refuse to glean anything. You refuse to grow.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, yeah, you should feel a certain way about
Absolutely.
that. Because
Absolutely.
what does that say about a person who wants to be stuck in a position of lack of growth, lack of maturity? Who wants to be there? Not anybody with good sense.
Not me.
So that, I mean, to me, that just says a lot. But if you did learn something, even if it's one lesson, no matter how big, how small that lesson is, there's no need for you to feel shame.
At all. At all.
So look at that. That's how it turns into momentum, because now again, I'm approaching that area of starting over with something new. So that should excite you.
Exactly.
It should
Exactly.
invigorate you. So
Exactly.
now you're coming with a whole different swag, whole new energy, whole new approach, whole new point of view. All of that should be how you're approaching it. So with that in mind, your energy should be different, and and whenever you're coming together again with a whole new approach, you should have a whole new plan. You should have a whole new strategy. And when it comes to your business, your strategy should include how you look at your business, how you look
Mm-hmm.
at your offers, how you look at how you engage with your audience, how you engage with your clients. Your content should look different. Your funnel should look different. Now, I'm not saying that it needs to be torn down and rebuilt and all
Right.
that other stuff.
Overhauled.
Right. But even if okay, let's say you have a coaching program, right? It's a 6-month coaching program. And let's say Your spouse, your child got sick, and I'm not trying to put that out there for anybody, but I'm just saying life happens, right? So in this example, this hypothetical situation, something happened to your child, something happened to your parent, and you're like, I need to take a break. So you put the things in place to take the break. You might give it to your assistant. Look, I need a couple of weeks. I need a month to focus on this. You come back, and now you're time to relaunch your 6 month coaching program. You've learned something. You can't tell me that dealing with a family in this situation, that you didn't learn something about planning, living in the moment, how fragile life is. You can't tell me that having to have your assistant or your COO or your OBM or whatever other acronym you got in your business, having them to step up to the plate and you having to trust and delegate. You can't tell me you didn't learn anything. So
Exactly.
now you have experience. You're
Mm-hmm.
looking at this 6 month coaching program, and those who are in your 6 month coaching program, they're going to be dealing with the same issues.
Mm-hmm.
They may not have a coaching business, but they may have someone in their life that they're having to take care of. You're having another layer that you can relate to them. So your approach to certain modules are going to be different. You're going
Yep.
to have different examples. You're going to think, oh, you know what? I used this planner to help me get through this. Or I started journaling and I found a great journal. Oh, you know what? I used this tea every night and it helped me to calm down after a stressful day. I uh, have a friend who turned me on to some oils. I was watching this TikTok video. It's something
Mm-hmm.
that you can add to your coaching program that you did not have in its previous cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So use that. That's a part of the things that you have, that's a part of the experience. That's a part of the approaching this with a different type of energy, a different type of excitement that you can bring to the table. And you can incorporate that into your marketing because you could do that with your emails. You could do that with a post. You could do that in your stories. You could do that in, your hot seat coaching. Whatever it is, you can use these experiences there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a way of refining your coaching program because now your audience is looking at you as someone who's more relatable.
Yep. Yep.
Because now I bet you, if you came and you said, I had this app, I use this app on my iPad to help whenever I was uh, frustrated, and it helped me to get my thoughts out. You share that with your coaching group, and I bet you someone's in the chat talking about, so what was app? Let me go ahead and download that. She used that, so let me go ahead and do that. Because you're relatable and you broke down that wall of, I have it all together.
Yep. Yep.
So they can see that growth. And so when you're looking at different elements in your business, don't shy away from adding your experiences, which humanizes you.
Real experiences.
Oh, do not
Sorry.
go to ChatGPT and put in as a prompt, I took a 3 month break from my coaching business and because I was overwhelmed and tired and frustrated. How can I use this in my coaching business?
Why you?
Please don't do that.
First of all, Jay, you just gave somebody some game. Let me just say that you just gave somebody game. um, um, but those of us who are, I know this word is so played, woke, aware, know the visceral feeling of going through something will read all in between your chat GPT response. So please don't do that. Make sure you're sharing a real story. Please and thank you.
Okay, so this is kitchen table talk. So yes, we have had clients that have pulled out experiences like, excuse me, what was that? And I want to welcome everyone who's joining us from Instagram, from YouTube, from Facebook. Welcome to the party. And
Oh,
yeah, so we've had coaches in order to try to relate to their audience. They have made up experiences. They have made
I
up
hate laughing about this.
outcomes. And you all have absolutely no idea
Oh my
the
gosh.
things that we have seen and had to deal with individually and collectively.
Yes, yes. So again, pause. So I am channeling Cam right now. Pause and Mace. Pause. I had somebody today in my other life trying to understand how she can create a better relationship with the person that she's working with. So again, if you've been around me long enough, you know this happens. People just they come to me, and I used to shy away from this, but now I embrace it, just open arms. So she comes and she sits in a chair, closes the door. And by the way, I am not a therapist. Please let me just put that in as a disclaimer. I am not a therapist. What I share with you is based off of reality and my experience and the work that I have done to become a better version of myself. Okay? So she
I'm
says,
gonna put down there like as a disclaimer, like
yes,
Kyna is not a therapist. The ideas and
please and thank you, Jay, because I don't want anybody coming for me. Because I am like, listen, I apply I apply the lessons in my life. I apply the things that I go and talk to my therapist. Yes, I have one of those. I apply these things. So, and subsequently I share them. So let me not digress because we are wrapping up. She asked me, she said, I trust you. How can I develop a better relationship with this other person? And I'm going to tell y'all, I told her one word. I said, you need to be honest. That's it. She was like, that's it? Yes, that's it. Because she has also told me that she has put a guard up around herself because of past experiences that she has had. And I'm like, great. That has nothing to do with the person that you're trying to get a better relationship with. So why are you taking those past relationships out on her? Not on her fault. It's not her fault. It's not on her. So you need to be honest. Period. End of sentence. This conversation that you're having with me right now is the same conversation that you need to be having with her. So, all that to say, as you're going through your journey, you need to keep it real. As real as yourself will allow you to be. But just know, people like me will be like, she ain't telling the whole story. This ain't right. This ain't so if you're not trying to attract me as a client, then keep it moving. But if you're trying to attract people like me, honesty matters. Being real matters. So, Jay, we talked about mind. You have actual.
I said I was gonna do it.
I appreciate that.
I said I was gonna do it.
Please save that. Please save that little blurb
Go put that.
because we need to have that on all the episodes. I am not a therapist. Somebody has said it to me today. You need to go back to school because if we can apply what you learn in school to what you already have now, oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Another conversation. Jay, so we talked about mine. We've joked about the mine.
Right.
What do people actually need to do when they're, restarting? What's the strategy around, this whole starting is not a failure, but what am I actually doing? Kyna got me thinking. Kyna got me re-examining Shane. What do they need to do with the stuff that they've created?
Number one, if you have a team, communicate.
Where's the hand clap? Yes.
If you have a team, communicate with them. Let them know that what's going on in your life. If you are having to take time off, they don't need to know the details. They don't need to know I'm having my house built and it's overwhelmed and I'm this much in debt and I did. They don't need to know the details. They do need to know that you are approaching your limit. They do need to know that. They do need to know that your energy is starting to wane, that you are starting to get overwhelmed, that you are running close to being out of funds. They need to know
all of it.
all of it. So, and the thing is, they're not going to judge you because they already see what's going on in your business.
They're not dumb.
I don't want to tell them that I don't have any money. Child, they already know that you don't have any clients and you don't have any money. So they already know that. They know how you because of how you pay them. They already know what your pocketbook situation is. So you're feeling like, oh, that's a little embarrassing. That's not comfortable. Child, grow up.
Yes. And give them the respect. Like
Right.
you hired, I would presume that you hire people that are intelligent. One, what Jay just says that you don't respect their intelligence because they're just, I don't know, they done turn the brain off to seeing what's actually happening in your business. But even if they don't know, give them enough respect to tell them what's going on so that they can make a decision. Your team is not children. They're not children. So, and if they can't handle the ebbs and flows of working with someone like you, they're not the right person anyway.
Exactly. Exactly. And if you can't trust them with that bit of information, then that says a lot about who you are as the CEO. And it says a lot about your relationship with them because it says that you don't trust them.
Whoa. I think we talked about that too, that whole trust thing. Because
because I'm like, if you don't trust them with that information to a certain level, again, they don't need to know all the details. And to a certain extent,
Sometimes they
the
ain't want to.
details is not their business. The details are not their business, but they do need to know. When you say that you're on a need to know basis, they're on a need to know basis. They need to know. But they don't need to know all of the details. So that's number one, communication. The second thing is that before you make the comeback, you need to sit down and talk about, okay, we need to have um, SOPs, standard operating practices in place for when I do need a break. We need to look at the calendar and schedule breaks. We need to take a look at how the business is structured. Is a business structured where I have to touch everything? Is the business structured for whenever emergencies happen? Can the business operate without me being there every day? And believe it or not, you don't need 5, 6, 12, 11 people on your team
At all.
for that to happen. Believe it or not. You can, those things, I will be, to be totally honest, it's going to be a lot. I'm not going to lie to you, but it is possible even with two people, with you and someone else. It's going to be a lot, but it is possible.
Repeat that for the people in the back, Jay.
It is a lot,
With just two people.
but it is possible. The
Absolutely.
thing is that you have to plan. You have to, the biggest part of strategy, yes, is the brain and being able to vision and da. Yes, all of that comes in with strategy, but a big chunk in strategy is planning.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have a plan. So before you hit that button to start over, have a plan.
Yep.
This is where you put into practice when we were talking about looking at your offers, looking at your funnel. Look, that's a part of setting up that strategy.
Mm-hmm.
What did I learn? What could be applied? What do I need to take away? What do I need to add? What's necessary? What's not? All of that is a part of putting together this plan. And whenever you put that plan together, a key piece of it is what can we automate?
Especially now. Especially now.
If you want to be able to walk away from your business, like to take that break to for your business not to be so heavily reliant on you being there every day, every moment. If you want that, then you're going to need to automate. Now, here is where you leverage AI. Not for replacing the realness of you, the authenticity of you, but how can you use AI to help you automate your business,
Yep.
to find out, to identify areas where you don't need to show up and areas where you cannot be replaced.
Yep.
You need to figure those things out. So that's all a part of strategy. And I know we had talked, Tina, you did a great job on your take of how we can approach this with a different mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Have the question, I cannot emphasize enough the need for anyone, everyone, to ask themselves those three important questions. If you didn't get them down, Kyna, if you can repeat them, or y'all can rewind. Let's do it again. But Kyna, if you have those three important questions, could you give it to them again?
Yes. What did we do well? What didn't we do well? And I think I said it a little different, but what we did well, uh, what didn't we do well, and what are we going to do moving forward? What are we going to do in order to make the next time better?
There it is, y'all. I hope you all were able to take notes. I hope you were able to glean something from this episode. This is our first episode back. Yes, season 3. I'm super excited. And as always, we came bearing ourselves, our strengths, our experiences, and really excited for our next episode because we're going to talk about how consistency looks different in every season.
Yes.
So again, we're building on this concept of getting back into the game, restarting, reigniting, building consistency, rebuilding your structure, and shaking off stagnation. And we want you to do that now in this season. Don't wait until, okay, we're going to start next month, we're going to start next week, we're going to start next year. Now's the time to do that. Now's the time to do it. So don't put off till tomorrow what can be done today. Y'all, thank you for rocking with us. You could have been doing anything in the world, but you chose to spend this time with us, and we're forever grateful and thankful. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. No, we're not. Yeah, Facebook, YouTube, all the platforms, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Yep, we're there. We're grown, y'all.
Literally, we grown.
We're like someone said, yeah, I'm big grown.
Yes, I'm big grown. Yes.
Yeah, so we're big grown. So yes, you can catch us all there, the Unspoken Truth podcast. So again, I'm your girl Jay. That's Mrs. Kyna B. And y'all have a good one. We'll see you all next time. Thanks.